I had some dreams, but then life happened. Now I work graveyard shifts at Circle K and try to talk homeless people into quick hand jobs on my smoke breaks. Mikey showed me my dreams aren't dead, maybe my moral fiber, but not my dreams.
My dream is to not walk up on anyone getting hand jobs on their smoke breaks by homeless people.
Mikey had always said racing was in his blood, and he was right. His father had been a driver back in the wild, balls-out days of NASCAR in the 1970s, racing alongside such legends like Tommy Dupree, Chick Williams, and Bobby Dean. In 1973, he blacked out behind the wheel, but luckily didn't kill anyone in the process. A physical revealed a problem with his heart, and team owners released him. His racing career was over. Mikey's father returned to what he did best, being a carny. He hired on with a carnival owner named Big Jim, who was certifiably insane. It was rumored he once met Elvis and pissed on his guitar to put out the fire of Satan's rock and roll. Eventually, Mikey's father would meet a girl who worked as a fortune teller at the carnival. They fell in love, and soon she was pregnant with Mikey. Now, Big Jim had heard about Mikey's father's racing past and had a proposition for him. Apparently, in a dream, the Lord had told Big Jim to build an 8-story ramp and have someone jump a rocket-powered Lincoln Continental over the Tennessee River to promote the carnival. He wanted Mikey's father to be that huckleberry. Needless to say, Mikey would grow up without a father, but the racing genes had been passed. After the death of Mikey's father, his mom wanted a normal life for her one-unit family and moved to Phoenix. She swore Mikey would never be a racer like his daddy. As he got older, she enrolled him in things like Cub Scouts. However, she soon found out that this little apple didn't fall far from the proverbial tree. One day she got a phone call. Mikey had stolen the bus the Scouts had rented for a weekend camping trip. Highway Patrol clocked him at 107 miles per hour. Mikey would later spend his time around the local racetrack and would eventually try out for any team he could. Although he often dominated other drivers, Mikey never made the cut. He had a medical condition that disqualified him as a racer.
I was born with a heart defect. It makes my heart bigger than normal people. It's not fair, but that's what life is.
I was Mikey's doctor since he was a child. Yes, racing was in his blood, but so were the genes for an enlarged heart. That's the reason his father had to quit racing. Medically speaking, there was nothing I could do. As a doctor, I've had to watch people die, and that's very difficult. Watching Mikey's dream die, that was no different. A death is a death, no matter how you slice it. My heart was broken for him. Mikey was like a son to me, except this time there was no stripper in Kansas City wanting child support.
Depressed and unsure about his future, Mikey moved to Tucson, where he took a dead-end job selling no-name chips for a guy named Tony.
Did you get that sample pack I sent you? That's the beautiful part. We don't have labels or a name. We cut all that overhead and give you the savings. You know, that's just the way it is. That's the beautiful part. The savings go on to you, the customer. Come on, take a couple of 100 pounds off my hands. I gotta start moving some product, okay? You must have gotten the sample pack I sent you. I put it out in UPS. You just take some off my hands. You should have gotten that sample pack.
No one wanted those chips. Mikey couldn't sell any to save his life, but it wasn't his fault. People really did hate him more than Hitler.
During one particularly brutal colonoscopy, Mikey shared with me his true feelings about selling chips for Tony. He felt trapped. I say brutal because I was still so hungover from playing golf the day before I didn't realize I was using my 9-iron. He also told me that he wasn't ready to give up on his dream just yet. I swore to myself right there that I'd do anything I could to help Mikey.
Whether or not the universe conspired to put Mikey at a racetrack again, no one will ever know.
I want to hear the cars firing up there, so I'll let them continue to work with.
all I ever wanted to do is to race cars. Suddenly found myself doing a job that I don't like. Does that mean my dream's dead? I don't believe that. I still think it's my dream. But this time, I was going to do it my way.
That night started out like any other. The faithful lined up to buy entry to the Church of Speed. The national anthem was sung poorly but proudly, and the grills were fired up and ready to crank out the best cheeseburgers you've ever tasted. But that night, there was a new wind blowing. Come race time, the number 9 car was unstoppable. The other racers were destroying their cars just trying to catch it. It was the greatest race people had seen at Tucson Speedway in a long time. No one was surprised when the number 9 car took the checkered flag, but they would be, just for a totally different reason.
It appears there's some trouble with the number 9 car. We may have an unauthorized driver on the track. Apparently that is not Duke Whitlock behind the wheel of the number 9 car.
After he was discovered, Mikey took off driving again. The number 20 car put him into the wall, and the Tucson Police Department put him in custody. You represented Mikey, but I understand you were also the first lawyer to successfully sue Walmart. Tell us about that.
When Walmart started, it had a dress code. Women had to wear hoop shirts and men had to dress like dandies. I sued and won the right for folks to wear whatever they wanted. So the next time you're there, take the time to appreciate that carnival of human folly, because it almost didn't happen.
It is like a free circus. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
How did you even get involved? Did Mikey call you?
I was at the track that night, and then I heard someone stole a race car. I thought the revolution had started.
Witnesses report you took off all your clothes and started screaming, "We are all children of Eden. Let us suckle at nature's ample teat."
It felt kind of silly afterwards.
I just saw someone do that at Walmart last Wednesday.
Oh, you're welcome.
So what happened when they got Mikey?
They wanted to throw the book at him, but I volunteered to defend him on the spot.
The lawyer went to work right away, cracking the big books at the U of A library. Not for Mikey's case. It's where he kept all his files. He liked to keep his paperwork nice and flat. And his lunch meats. And his dress shirts.
I wasn't worried about defending him. I'd seen this kind of thing before. Ever hear of Kent State? I was standing right there. Mikey's case would be decided by the people, the way Kent State was. Sure, Crosby, Stills, and Nash didn't write a song about Mikey, but they should have. He lit a fire in people's hearts.
Keep in mind, this was 2009. We were in the beginning of the recession. People needed something to believe in, and Mikey gave that to them.
Demonstrators blocked a major intersection near the U of A today. The protest stopped regular traffic and streetcars.
We're living in bad times right now. A lot of people lost everything. I have lost my dream once too. People should keep trying and never give up. Do I think I'm a hero? No, I don't think I am. But if I could be a hero for someone else, that's okay with me.
Tucson Speedway realized this wasn't about a guy taking a car on a joyride. It became something more profound, and they didn't know how to stop it.
Calls itself the action track built for speed, but the facility has been stuck in neutral recently.
They did the only thing they could do. They dropped all charges. They even agreed to sell Tony's chips.
This race is brought to you by Chips. No name, no label. They cut out all that overhead and give you the savings.
Not surprisingly, Tony lost the account the same night. People hated those chips more than Hitler.
Come on, folks. Take a couple of $100 off our hands. Seriously, we're not even charging you. Take as much as you can carry.
Angry about losing the account, Tony fired Mikey.
Yeah, I was angry about it. Here I am, busting my hump, trying to get business. He's out there taking joyrides when he should have been selling chips.
But a small racing team in North Carolina had heard about what Mikey had done and offered him a job as a driver. Mikey had finally made it. So in order for Mikey to get on that team, he needed a clean bill of health. You gave that to him. Did you want to talk about what happened?
I might be an a-hole, but I'm not happy about what happened. And you know what? I don't want to talk about it.
It was a packed house, and they'd all come to see Mikey. Toward the end of the race, the number 15 car suffered a loss of steering and went into the wall. Mikey, who was driving behind it, had no time to stop. He was hit again from behind.
Let me stop you right there before you get on your white horse of righteousness. Ask yourself this question. Would you rather go out knowing you'd given your all and done whatever it took to get your dream, or go out knowing you gave up and never tried in the first place? And if you were in a position to help someone fulfill that dream, would you stand with them or stand in their way? If it makes you feel any better, I did read the autopsy report. Mikey experienced major cardiac arrest when he hit that first car. He never felt a thing.
I didn't like what happened to Mikey any more than you, but I believe in a man's rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of his own happiness. I took the doctor as a client because he believed in the same thing.
The medical board looked into Mikey's case. They wanted to pull your license. You retained Mikey's lawyer at that time, correct?
When they turned up the heat on him about clearing Mikey to race, he gave me Mikey's original medical record for safekeeping.
Did you retain his counsel because of your guilt?
I retained his counsel because I liked the way he handled his paperwork.
I like to keep my paperwork nice and flat. It's here somewhere. Oh well, happy hunting.
The medical board never did find Mikey's original medical report, and you got to keep your license.
Like I said, I like the way the man handled his paperwork.
As we travel through this world, we meet people whose flame seems to burn a little brighter, and for whatever reason, sometimes doesn't burn long enough. But during their time here, they show us some simple truths. Mikey showed us it's never too late to do the things you've always dreamed of. So if you're working the graveyard shift at a job you hate, that's okay. Just keep your dream alive no matter what. And if you can help someone else to get their dream, do it. This is your life. You don't know how much time you have left. Don't you want to look back and say you gave it everything you had? Don't you want to say you never gave up? I mean, isn't that the point?